This Ikkees is not going to be Unnees Bees and the top 20 career megatrends for 2021 and beyond. And that is the topic for today's video. Now, for those of you who understand Hindi, or at least follow the language, may have already grasped the slight pun or twist in the headline. Unnees Bees means small change, incremental change, fractional change, a little change. Now, as we transition every year from one to the other, 98 to 99, 99 to 2000, we experience small Unnees Bees little changes in our lives and in our careers. And we take that in our stride and adjust for them. But this year, as we move into 2021, it's not going to be about little Unnees Bees change. It's going to be one big fat Ikkees change, or a 2021 change. And coincidentally, the year that we are entering is also 2021. So surely there's not going to be a Unnees Bees change for 2021. It's going to be a big fat Ikkees change. So let's prepare for that. And then there are career megatrends, and we will talk about at least 20 of them in today's video. Whichever way you look at it, either they're applicable for 2021 or for the decade that follows, because after all, we're going to be entering into a fresh decade, a brand new decade. But before I begin my video or move forward, mentioning just three small points. One, we're going to be touching upon a whole lot of subjects and points today, so therefore today's video may be a tad longer than my usual videos, so kindly bear with me. The second is, for the sheer number of points that we'll touch upon, it will not be possible for me to delve into deep detail on each one of them, but I promise to come with separate and specific videos on each one of them, and basis your feedback, of course, and I'll wait for that. And finally, all that we are going to be talking about today, these huge Ikkees changes for 2021 and the career megatrends going forward, are in the context of India and the Indian manager. So let there be some focus on that, right? So let's move ahead, and I welcome you to another episode of Careertainment. This is going to be the last episode of this year. Thank you for watching, and thank you for encouraging and subscribing. And thank you for my studio team and my research team, which helps me put this together. Thank you for watching, and welcome to another episode once again. Let's begin the top mega trends by the first two, which we will not talk too much about because much has already been spoken about them everywhere through the year. So I'll spend little time on them just to save some time, and also the fact that you people have already gone through them. The first mega trend is that this is going to be the decade of distributed workforce. The way COVID-19 has impacted us, it has permanently changed the way we approach our work life, our professions, our business, the way we handle our work-life balance. Now, much has been already spoken, discussed, and talked about, and I'm sure more will come out. So today we will not talk much about this first mega trend, which is decade of the distributed workforce. But this is the major trend that will impact us going forward. The second trend is this is going to be the decade of technology. A no-brainer, you would say, right? Absolutely. The way it looks like that the whole world is going to be divided into two sets. Those that create technology and those that use technology. And all of us are going to be falling in either of these sets. So get ready. So therefore, it's a no-brainer that jobs connected to technology will be booming. Careers connected to technology will boom in India. AI, ML, data sciences, robotics, etc., everything will boom. So it's a complete no-brainer. But what I want to point out is that technology should not be looked at as just one sector. Why I feel it's a decades megatrend is because it's an all-encompassing sector. Whether it is agri, dairy, industry, space, aerospace, everywhere technology will inundate and rule us. So therefore, it's going to be the decade of technology, and therefore careers and business opportunities related to technology over the next decade are going to boom. The next mega trend is that it's going to be the decade of the entrepreneur or the decade of entrepreneurship. Now, all signs indicate, whether macroeconomic, geopolitical, or commercial, that this next 10 years is going to be one of the most conducive for entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs. There are more opportunities, there is more risk-taking appetite, there is more cash flowing towards great idea. So it's going to be great for entrepreneurship all around. So if it is entrepreneurship that gives you a kick, then your time is now, because the next is going to be the decade of the entrepreneur. The next mega trend, number 4, is the decade of India as a career destination. Now, relatively speaking, more jobs and more opportunities and more businesses are going to be created out of India. So there are going to be many more career opportunities over here. I'm not saying that career opportunities will not exist elsewhere, but the next decade will be the decade of India as a career destination. The whole world will land up here, and don't give it a miss. So for those of you who are a little disappointed and feel, oh, there's no opportunity here, you may probably want to relook at that assumption. Or for those who've gone abroad for studies and are thinking that, hey, will I get an opportunity back home? Rest assured, the next decade is the decade of India as a career destination. Next, let's move to the next megatrend, number 5. The decade of the homegrown manager. So if India is going to be a career destination, there is going to be a humongously large need of the homegrown manager. So who is a homegrown manager? So if you are a person who knows this market well, who has studied here, who's worked here, who's kind of ground his teeth on the Indian market and understands its complexities, then the time or the next decade is for you. The next decade is going to be for the homegrown manager, because India offers strange complexities unlike other markets. So even when global transnationals and MNCs come here, they are now fast realizing, if they have already not, that it is perhaps a mistake to put in managers from other markets, however good they are, but to then rather prefer Indian homegrown managers who are going to be much more valuable to their business. So megatrend number 5, the decade of the homegrown manager. If you are one of them, these are great times for you. Megatrend number 6, decade of the small town upcountry India opportunity. Technology is going to bridge all the connectivity gaps. There are great opportunities that will therefore come in from small town India or upcountry India. Don't work in a paradigm that all opportunities, business or career, will come in from metros and mega metros like Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, etc. There are some great businesses, companies that operate in smaller cities. Mangalore, Mysore, Vizag, Raipur, Guwahati, and they are very good companies. So don't be surprised if you get your next career offer from a Raipur or a Jaipur or a Vizag. And these companies may pay you as good, if not more sometimes. And believe you me, there's a huge lifestyle change as well when you work from a smaller town. So it impacts your work-life balance also. So the next mega trend, number 6, is that this is going to be the decade of small town upcountry career opportunities. Maybe even rural opportunities if that interests you. Megatrend number 7, decade of the Indian MNC. There are many companies, Indian companies, wanting to spread their wings internationally. Africa, US, Europe, Far East, etc., etc. And I'm not talking about the large business houses or the traditional established conglomerates. There are even smaller companies, even as emerging enterprises and SMEs, who are now aggressively looking at opportunities to expand internationally and go global. So if your career is linked to any of these companies, whether as a business opportunity or as a job, then you are on a hell of a great wicket, because the next decade, or the trend says that this is going to be the decade of the Indian MNC. Megatrend number 8, decade of more Indians in global corner offices. Now, much has already been talked about this, and in fact, Indian managers in the corner office of large corporations like Microsoft, Google, IBM, etc., are part of popular folklore already. But this is only going to increase. The Indian manager has found his niche in global corporations and he has been acknowledged. So if you're working for MNCs, there are all the chances that your race to the corner office is going to be faster, and your chances to be in the executive councils, executive committees, or excons is only going to increase in every part of the world. So that's going to be a great career megatrend, the decade of more Indians in global MNC corner offices. Megatrend number 9. It's going to be the decade of HR, or human relations. Now, Industry 2.0 was all about the factory boss or the industrial boss. Industry 3.0 was all about the marketing boss. Industry 4.0 is going to be about the HR boss. In fact, I've written a very detailed article how the next boss could be from HR, and there's a link below. You could click on that and read about it in detail. But before my friends in the HR fraternity get excited, let me tell you, I'm talking more about HR as a function than HR as a person. HR as a function is going to be very important. So every functional manager, whether general manager or marketing guy or everybody, will need to know HR as a function to work effectively in his industry or sector. So yes, it is going to be the decade of HR, but HR guys, you're going to get much more competition, but of course, you've got a little head start there. Megatrend number 10, research jobs. It's going to be a decade of research jobs in India. Till now, research jobs took a second position. It was more about applied jobs. So if you're interested in research, lab research, technology research, biotech, bioengineering, life sciences, everywhere, there is going to be a boom in research careers. So if research gives you the kicks, and if you love it, then you're at the right time and the right place in India. Research jobs are going to be big. So thumbs up to all you research geeks. Megatrend number 11. It is going to be a decade of jobs outside the service sector. Now, all of us know that from the 90s onwards, services jobs have taken a disproportionate share of jobs, or a share of economy, but a slightly less than proportionate share of jobs. Our economy today is around 65 to 70% services economy, but creates only 12 to 14% of jobs there. Contrast that with agriculture. 40% job creation with a 15 or 20% contribution to the GDP. Actually 15% contribution to the GDP. Imagine with a slight increase in focus on agri and industry, the number of jobs that are going to be created in the agri and industrial sector are going to be huge. I'm not saying that services jobs will not be created, only that there is going to be a little diminishing marginal return in terms of job created in the services sector. Huge numbers of career opportunities and business opportunities are going to be created in the agri and industrial sector. So megatrend number 11 is decade of jobs outside of services sector in the other sectors as well. Megatrend number 12. This is going to be a decade of inventions and patents. And I'm talking specifically inventions and patents and consciously not using the word innovation, otherwise it will go into the general space. Now those scientists and creators who will create their own products, this is the time for them. Filing of patents, filing of inventions which will solve and offer solutions for local problems. It's going to be a decade for these inventions. There are inventions coming in farm sector, in agri sector, in space. Little inventions and patents are being filed. We will see the number of global patents filed from India go up incrementally. There'll be a burst of that, inventions and patents, and those who've got a decent product or a decent invention can hope to make a whole lot of money, forget the money, do a whole lot of good to humanity and make a healthy packet for themselves. So career megatrend number 14, this is going to be the decade of inventions and patents. Career megatrend number 13. This is going to be the decade of the disappearing middle economy. Now, what do I mean by middle economy? The way it is going to happen is more and more businesses are going to be reaching their consumer direct without intermediaries. You've seen that happen in many sectors like airlines, etc. already, and that's only going to increase now. And it's going to be fast-tracked. So the middle economy is going to be disappearing. Whether B2B or B2C, whether industrial products or whether consumer products, all will vie the direct attention and try to reach directly to the consumer. And therefore, the middle economy is probably at a risk. For example, FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods, or SMCD or slow-moving consumer durables, I don't see them having a whole lot of field force, sales executives, territory managers, etc., which was a large part of workforce. So career megatrend number 13, if you are linked to any of this middle economy, you need to pivot fast because it is going to be the decade of the disappearing middle economy. Career megatrend number 14. This is going to be the decade of lateral entry into public sector and government jobs. This more governance and less government in a policy is going to have a direct impact on the number of jobs that are going to be created in the government and public sectors. Already a trickle has started. We've seen some people transition into the government sector. More of that is going to happen and the trickle is going to turn into a flow over the next 10 years. So this is going to be the decade of lateral entry into PSU and government jobs in India. You will find many opportunities. And not just career or job opportunities. You will find many business opportunities because government will outsource many more businesses to the private sector. So there are entrepreneurship opportunities. It will need experts, consultants, it will need technocrats. So a lot of movements from other sectors will happen into the government and public sector, and it may be phenomenally rewarding in more ways than one, and not just because of money, because the sheer impact and the size and the scale that you will operate in. So career megatrend number 14 will be a decade of lateral entry into government and public sector jobs. Career megatrend number 15. It will be a decade of reward for excellence. Why is this special? Because excellence is going to be rewarded disproportionately. How is it different from earlier? Earlier, excellence was an also ran, and mediocrity was kind of tolerated and accepted. But that is going to change now. Excellence in any field is going to be disproportionately rewarded. And probably mediocrity is not going to be accepted all the time. So try to be excellent and excel in whatever you do, in whatever field, in whatever position, in whatever sector, industry. You will be rewarded in your career disproportionately. Career megatrend number 16. It is going to be a changing trend of white-collar migration. What do I see there? We all saw that most of the white-collar jobs or career migration used to happen from the north and east into south and west. Over the next decade, it's going to be the decade of changing trends in this white-collar migration for jobs and career and business opportunities. You might find a whole mix happening. People from south moving to east, moving to north, north coming to east, north moving to west. It's not going to be anymore a one-way traffic from north to west or south and east to west or south. Over the next decade, things are going to be much more homogeneous and thankfully more healthy for all of us as a country, and that's going to be a major career megatrend, that it's going to be a decade of changing trends in white-collar migration. Megatrend number 17. The next decade is going to be the decade of brain power from the Northeast. And why is this important? It's important because till now the brain power from the Northeast was not experienced by the workforce in India. It's going to bring its own healthy, beautiful flavor. And I'm not talking about bottom of the pyramid jobs in retail or wellness, etc. I'm talking about management level, senior, intellectual jobs. You will find a lot of people from the Seven Sisters and youngsters and executives from the Seven Sisters and other states in the Northeast moving into other parts of the country. And this is going to bring in a whole different set of work culture going forward. So that's going to be another career megatrend. It's going to be a decade of brain power from the Northeast joining the mainstream. Watch it, it's going to be fantastic. What is the career megatrend number 18? It is going to be a decade of liberal trends. Art, music, drama, writing, etc. are going to be career choices which will have mainstream and serious mainstream acceptability, and you will also make money. So liberal pursuits, if you have a hobby or are excellent at this, can be a serious career option for you. Next, let's go to the last but one, which is the career megatrend of 19, which in my view or our research team's view are going to be the top industry sectors for you to eye for various reasons. First, agri and food processing. There is a serious demand in this segment. There's a lot of government investment and private sector investment happening in this sector. So if you're, and when I'm saying this, when we are talking about these top 10 sectors, in this mega trend, please look at it as an ecosystem, not just as one angle. So when I say food and agri and food processing, look at everything connected with that. Manufacturing, labs, research, etc. It's the entire ecosystem. So agri and food processing is going to be one of the sunrise sectors going forward in the career megatrend number 19. Point number 1. Number 2, infrastructure and construction. I've heard that word being used in some ad, I don't remember. India is a work in progress country, and sure, we are going to be work in progress when it comes to infrastructure for at least a decade more. So infrastructure and construction, etc. is going to be a great sector. Third, logistics. With a whole lot of people distributed and staying at one place, goods and services and products will have to move from one place to the other. Logistics is going to be one great sector to watch out for, and if you are connected with any aspect of the logistics industry, good for you. And when I say logistics, I don't just mean product or services movement, also data movement. Large logistics companies will be involved in a lot of movement, not just the conventional type. Number 4, healthcare and biotech. Of course, it's a no-brainer. This is the biggest industry in the world and will remain so. Till there is humanity, there will be illness and wellness requirement. So healthcare and biotech is an evergreen sector. Energy and renewables. Big time if you're connected with these two sectors, because already the megawatt coverage of renewables in terms of the energy requirement fulfilled is huge. So if you're connected with energy and renewables, great for you. Precision engineering, and material sciences, another big domain that you should be closely watching, and if you're associated with this industry, big time. Including, of course, mass customization is going to happen, 3D printing, all this is going to happen. A lot of low precision, high value business looks like it's coming down, but high precision and high value business out of India is going to increase. So if you are in that domain of precision engineering, material sciences, etc., thumbs up to you. That's going to be a great career opportunity going forward for the next decade. Defense, nuclear, space. If I were to say which is the top brand in the country today, I would clearly give it to ISRO. They exemplify what is happening in defense, nuclear, and space technology. In fact, most of the Bay Area development in the US happened because of this sector. And the kind of focus that this sector is receiving in India, led by ISRO, and now with the privatization of the defense sector, this is going to be one attractive segment for your careers and business opportunities going forward. Number 8, of course, BFSI and fintech, etc. Financial inclusion is still a low penetration area for our country. And as this increases, this is one domain for you guys to watch out for. And if you are linked and your career is linked to any of this domain, it's great. 9, a very surprise entrant, DevSec. A whole lot of investment and infrastructure is being directed at the development sector in various parts of the country. There are various pockets which are not yet developed, and to come up to an equalized state is going to take a whole lot of time. So next decade, DevSec is going to be a great opportunity. DevSec connected to social services, agri, farming, etc. So if you're connected with the DevSec in any part of the ecosystem, great for your careers. And last but not the least, sport and tourism. My favorite sectors, and these sectors are going to be huge. I have done specific videos at least on some of them. Watch it and we'll come to that later. So that's the career megatrend number 19, the top segments or sectors to watch out for. And the final career megatrend number 20. Which are the segments which are going to be maximum disrupted, and therefore you got to be nimble footed. Nothing will happen to the sector, the industry, it will remain, but it's just that technology will disrupt it hugely. And if you're connected with this sector, you better watch out that you're not on the razor's edge. Yeah, you're firmly grounded. First, automobile and transportation. Another link, I've written a detailed article on how the automobile industry is in a tailspin. You all know Tesla has overtaken many of the automobile majors. It's also likely that none of the existing automobile players may be the big automobile players of tomorrow. So if you're connected anyway with this industry, whether you're a dealership, whether you're a component manufacturer, whether you're doing a job in one of these businesses, be prepared. This is set up for disruption very quick. The only thing you don't see changes in this sector is because the guys leading the chain are not yet ready for it. But when they are ready, change will happen overnight. So I don't want you to be caught off guard in terms of your careers and businesses and business opportunity. Number 2, media. If you don't know that's already disrupted, then it's already disrupted. Third, entertainment. The formats, the texture, everything has changed. If you're connected with the media and entertainment business, keep a close watch on the happenings. We've done some videos in the past. Stay connected. We will look at these sectors in detail going forward, but be prepared for major disruption in these sectors. Number 4, education. A huge industry is going to grow only bigger, but the texture is going to completely change. Universities and educational institutions of tomorrow are not going to be about investment in physical infrastructure. It's going to be about investment in digital infrastructure. And that's going to disrupt it big time. The industry is only going to go bigger, but in a completely different direction, with a different contours and different textures. So if you're connected with the education industry, be prepared for that disruption. The next industry which is going to be disrupted, which has already been disrupted perhaps, is retail. And I'm not talking just about brick and mortar being replaced by, let's say, e-commerce. Even brick and mortar retail, the manner in which AI and ML will take over a lot of roles and careers, you got to be on top of your job over there to find out what's happening and reskill yourselves if you're connected with this industry. Same goes for hospitality. It has a temporary impact, at least because of COVID, but a lot will change even in the hospitality industry. Number 7, mining and fossil. This will have the alternate risk in my view. As much as renewables and alternative energy goes up, fossil and mining, etc., will probably go down. Now, this is a large industry with a whole lot of inertia, and it's an economy driver kind of industry, so it will take a long time, but clearly this is on the downward pie or downward slope in any case. So if you're connected with fossils and mining and this kind of industry, any form of destructive energy source, be careful because it is going to be disrupted. Plastics and chemicals. Again, this industry, if you're connected with this, will face a lot of innovation risks. New inventions will come up and will obliterate existing models. For example, it just takes one innovation in glass to obliterate the entire silica and glass and chemical industry, right? So that kind of stuff can happen in the plastics and chemical industry. In the fashion and lifestyle business, the fashion and lifestyle business faces the risk of, perception rather than functionality. More of fashion and lifestyle will probably be driven by functionality and not by perception. Right now, very difficult to differentiate one brand for the other. Inventions and innovations will happen which will bring in technology. You're seeing that in wearables, for example, when it comes to apparel. Now, this kind of disruption is going to happen in lifestyle and fashion, and people are generally going to be more cued on to functional differentiation going forward. Of course, perceptual differentiation will matter, but functionality will matter to a large extent. And finally, support sectors like consulting, advertising, market research, these are sectors, if you are connected with these sectors, watch out for them, because they are also going to be disrupted, and technology is going to take over a lot of functions and expertise that one provided. So consulting, advertising, market research, these are functions. PR, for example, these are functions are probably on the cusp of a change or a cusp of disruption. So that for you is the career megatrend list of top 20 in my view. It's been a long video. I'm sorry I've not been specific. I can't go for the lack of time into specific details of each point, as you must have realized and as I already mentioned to you. But if you are, what do you do with your career megatrends? If you are a student, then pick your college degree and education very carefully. Whether you need an MBA, don't need an MBA, whether you want to be a research scholar, don't want to be a research scholar, whether you want to get into skill-based education or formal education, make that decision very, very clearly after talking to people around you, your seniors, your peers and advisors, etc. Make that decision. Either way, whatever decision you make, you're going to be good. If you are a professional which under, a young professional, let's say under 30, it's important, as my previous video I mentioned, it's important for you to pick the correct boss or the correct mentor. And that's going to make a whole lot of difference for your career going forward. If you're a middle level executive, which means you're between 30 to 40, right? What do you do? Yeah, I think you guys should take at least that one risk that you always wanted to. Either a business risk that you wanted to take or something that you wanted to start off. Take that one risk, even if you fail, no problem, because you're slowly losing time. Your time is now. Experiment, even if you fail, no problem, you have tried, but you will never regret later. And if you're a senior executive, which is beyond 40, what do you guys do? Do all of us have a hope? Well, I can suggest only one thing. Get rid of your chronological age and focus on your body or biological age. I'm sure a lot of you are focusing on your health and wellness now, because if you beat your chronological age with your biological age, believe you me, I've seen a lot of you guys more healthier and smarter and fitter than even the younger lot. You'll be even ready to attempt a startup. In fact, this is the best time for you guys above 40 to attempt a startup. Low risk. Yeah, do that. But take charge of your biological age and beat your chronological age. And if you're an entrepreneur, what do you do with your career megatrends? If you're an entrepreneur, be a real inspired entrepreneur and not just a businessman. Try to do something inspirational, either for yourselves, your family, your region, your community, your country, whatever excites you. Do something which is inspirational and aims at being the best in the world. That's what you should do. It's been a long video. Thank you for being with me. As an end note, I can only say that I wish you not a Unnees Bees best of luck or a happy new year, but I wish you a huge fat Bees Ikkees big all the best for the coming year in 2021 and beyond.